Hey y'all, what's up? JamiThatsMe here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. We have to talk about Summer House because a new episode has dropped. And I have to say that I'm a bit pissed. I feel like after like the first 30 minutes, I was like, I don't even know if I want to watch this show no more. Because of what happened with Mariah. I was like, girl, I don't even know if I want to watch it no more. But I continue to watch. I continue to watch. I'm glad I did because once the previews came for the upcoming portion of the season, we're going to see that Silas is kind of going to get into it with Bria. Chances are I'm going to be on Silas' side because at this point, I do not like Bria. Like, I just don't like her personality. I don't like how she's entitled. And I loved how he called her manipulative because I've been saying that from the beginning about Bria's fake ass. So let's go ahead and let's just talk about the show, okay? So Amir is about to put his foot into Phil's ass. And I was here for that because Phil came into the show doing the absolute most. And it was like Phil was planning on being an ass the entire time that he was here to get all the attention on him. And they hurried up and got him the hell up out the house, and I loved it. Alex and Preston are like, he has to go, okay? After he tried to square up with Amir and do all this extra stuff, Alex and Preston said, oh, he gonna have to go. If that don't go, we finna leave. And I said, I know that's right. Excuse me. So that's pretty much that, all right? Jordan kind of pissed me off, and she typically does because she did this with Bria as well. So instead of Jordan going to check on the guys in the house, like, y'all good, y'all straight, and then probably going over there to Phil, she bypassed those guys in the house and went straight over there to Phil to check on Phil. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why you going over there to check on this for? Like, for what? She says she's never met Phil or anything, only like on the phone, but not in person. So she runs over there to check on Phil. She asking him what's going on. And I guess she thought because she was a woman and a pretty one at that, he wasn't going to be disrespectful. But he was disrespectful as hell to her, okay? So Phil tells her, look, I shitted in Nick's toilet. Yeah, I did that, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, well, why would you do that? He said, because it was my room. Then I found out that it wasn't my room or whatever. He said Bria was supposed to be the person to secure my room or whatever. He's like, so I guess I should be flipping out on her ass and probably her dog too. Again, you sound stupid. If it's not enough rooms in the house, why are you expecting Bria to secure that? Clearly, also, you should know your friend. You've been friends with her long enough to know that Bria is really all for self, period. Bria is all for self. She wanted you to come for whatever reason, but she was not going to have no room for you, honey. So Shanice comes down and she talks to Phil, and Phil says, oh, you know you my favorite, right? And he over there kind of like hyping her up, and then he looks over to Jordan and tells Jordan something like, and I told you were cute, but Shanice, you my favorite, whoop, whoop, whoop. And it also made me wonder if people do that often with Jordan and Shanice, because I feel like Jordan may be more reserved because she's trying to assess, just as her personality, trying to assess what people are there for, whereas Shanice is more, I guess you could say, vibrant, for lack of a better word, and just like being out there like, hey y'all, like, like really outgoing, I guess you could say, okay, like people's person, walk up, talk to people, whatever. So it kind of made me wonder, does that happen often when it comes to them? Because next thing you know, I feel like Jordan just kind of like went off on him, and I'm like, you know what, Jordan, I do feel like he was triggered by that little comment right there. I do, even though he kind of went on and he started to get like real fly because somebody said, all right, y'all, come on, ladies, and come on, guys and girls. And then I think he said, and gentlemen or something. And she was like, Jordan said, are you though? Are you a gentleman? Da-da-da-da. You've been disrespectful, yada, yada, yada. Then turns around to call him a bitch. And I said, okay, Jordan, all the extra energy that you're giving him, to me, it's not that he did not deserve it, but it was interesting where the energy came from when all he said was somebody else was his favorite. And all he said was he shitted in somebody else's bathroom and all this other stuff. And I know you weren't really tripping off of what he did to other people because you didn't even really see about those people before you went to go see about Phil anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it was more to that story that she didn't really like. You know what I'm saying? Because then she said something like, when he said, I told you were cute, she was like, oh, I've been waiting all my life to hear that I'm cute and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know. Did you just want to argue with him in that moment? I don't know. Something was off about that. Maybe nobody else caught it, but I did. And I think that she didn't like what he said about Shanice being his favorite. So I don't know. But let's keep going. So they do have a house meeting. And they ask everybody who all wants to send Phil home. Raise your hand. Y'all tell me why not Shanice, but Bria raised her hand. And I was like, Bria, not you raising your hand when you the fucking want to invite this man to come down here and you don't even know what the hell really going on. You just raising your hand? Oh, okay. You probably raised your hand because you already had a plan in motion anyway. So Bria doesn't want to tell him because they said, well, the person that invited him needs to be the person to tell him. She don't really want to tell him. So what she decides to do is deflect and focus on what Mariah did to her, making it seem like Mariah pushed her. But it's like, you act like the girl really like pushed you hard. She gave you your clothing back. You act like it was such a threat. And I just hate how everybody in the house allowed her to play this bullshit up. And it just made me feel like, you know what? I don't think I like nobody in the house right now. You know, especially when Amir came out with his confession towards the later part of the episode. I was like, I ain't with none of y'all but Preston. But anywho, so Bria decides to flip the conversation to talk about Mariah and leverage the incident that happened to her in the Phil situation. It's like, okay, if my friend Phil got to go, then one of y'all got to go and Mariah got to go because I don't feel comfortable with her being in the house. Right? Well, that's what it was. Bria goes downstairs. She talks to Phil. She cuts straight to the chase, which I can appreciate. And she lets him know everybody feels uncomfortable. I don't even know what you did downstairs, and says, listen, you got to go home. And I was like, it's so funny that you don't even know what he did and everybody else feels this way. But bitch, you was the one upstairs raising your hand for him to go home too. Like, I just don't like this girl. So Phil snaps on her pretty much and says it wasn't his fault or whatever. So now he mad at Bria because he feel like Bria should have had his room and this, that, and the other and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And I guess he didn't even get a chance to defend himself. They just made their own decision. So now he got to go when he mad. Bria doesn't care because Bria only cares about herself. That's just what it is, okay? So Jasmine has to talk to Mariah, and she's over here dreading it. She moping around and everything. She really don't want to have this conversation, but she does. When she goes to have the conversation with Mariah, I'm not even going to lie, y'all. I fast-forwarded some part of it because I was like, girl, you take it too long. Just get to the point and tell this girl she's out. So she lets Mariah know that she's going home. And that's just what it was. And I felt bad for Mariah that she was having to leave so soon. And also, I feel like Mariah was effed out of an opportunity to even be on the cover of the promo for Summer House. But I do hope that they bring her back next year. She might say no. She may not even want to come. But I definitely hope that she comes back. One thing I can recall from the conversation that I was fast forwarding was when Jasmine tried to bring up the moon mask as though it was this really good event that Mariah put together. And it's like, bitch, don't even come in this lady face and try and play like that, talk about you put together this really good event when it was an event that y'all wasn't even trying to be a part of. Y'all wasn't even really listening to her or nothing, girl, and walked off on her. So, like, girl, don't be trying to make it seem like it was just this great of an event. Like, sit down. So, anywho, later on that night, first of all, Phil left that night, but Mariah stayed until the next morning. So, Amir, he's trying to use the restroom. He knocks on the door, and Shanice is in the bathroom, and she says, who is it? And he says, Amir. She says, come in. Girl, she finna have some problems. And that whole energy I feel about Shanice and Jordan, I feel like that's gonna show up at a later time, but I don't know. That's just what I think, okay? Now, what else happened? So then Shanice decided to walk out the bathroom in just her thong, bare breast showing, leaning around the corner so that Amir can see what she's working with, just to have a conversation with him, to tell him she's not going to be in there long or whatever the case is. You couldn't have said that from cracking the bathroom door and yelling and say, hey, Amir, covering yourself, yelling out the bathroom door, hey, I'm not going to be in here long if you're still out there, give me a second. Now, you did that intentionally. Girl, and Shanice, you ain't nobody friend either. And now I see why you and Bria cool, but let's keep going. Now, y'all know Amir is really turned on by this. He's trying to save face and be so focused on Jordan, but Jordan's not putting out. And I don't care what nobody say, Amir is going to get to a point where he's going to want to get it in. And he's going to do it with Shanice. And I feel like he's probably going to be doing some stuff behind Jordan back, and she's probably not going to know. So I feel like it's going to be it's going to be a mess or something. I don't know. We're going to find out. Anywho, so Mariah's packing up to go home. Amir goes in there to check on her. Now, when he does this, at first I felt like I appreciate him going in there to check on this girl, seeing how she doing. But later on, that got snatched back once we learned what we learned. So Bria says that she's embarrassed by Phil. Jasmine comes in. She hugs Mariah. And I just kind of felt like, for me, and maybe that's me working on my maturity level. If y'all telling me I got to go home and my closest friend came and delivered that news to me, I'm not even going to hold y'all. I don't want to talk or see nobody. For real, for real. Like, I want to even talk to them. You know, like, y'all had her on the outside, like Phil, when she was the one that was there from the beginning getting to know y'all. Like, she couldn't come in and say her piece. And it's like, y'all got to admit, all of y'all are really over Bria's dog. And if it was y'all probably would have responded in the same manner. And y'all overhyping this push like it was like she pushed her on the ground, the like type thing. Like, whatever it was, I didn't like it. And if I was Mariah, Jasmine couldn't come back in there trying to hug me. And honestly, I would have really packed my shit up that night and left before they even woke up. Excuse me. When everybody was asleep, I would have packed all my shit up. We ain't saying no goodbyes. Because she only said goodbye to Jasmine for real. And kind of Amir, whoever came to see her. I wouldn't have wanted to talk to Jasmine. It's not that we ain't going to be friends no more. But in this moment, I'm not really feeling you. So I would have packed my shit up in the wee hours of the night. And I would have been like, production, bring somebody. And I'm finna head out in this bitch. Like, I'm not finna bye. Like, I just wouldn't have did that. And then Jasmine sitting up there crying and stuff, and she all sad and this and that. And it's like, that's what you get, though. Because you let other folks convince you to let you bring a hoe on a trip that you don't even fuck with. You ain't even crazy about Bria. Out your own mouth first episode. Don't even really know the chick like that, for real, for real. And you brought her along, and all she's been, in all honesty, is problems, in my opinion. So I just feel like that's what you get. So and then when when Mariah said, I am mourning my friendships right now, I said, I know that's real. I'm with you on that. Like, girl, I am mourning my friendships. Like, let me reevaluate. Let me look at some stuff. Let me see. Let me assess the value and the benefit of this friendship, bitch. Because no, ma'am, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But anywho, so that's that. Later on, we learned that Amir was the one that took Bria's dog stuff and threw it into the fucking dryer with somebody else's stuff. And that's messed up. Because if everybody would have knew that, Amir, your ass probably would have been the one going home. And then he said he tried to say something, but it was too late at that point. And I'm just like, and that's the sad part. It wasn't too late. You could have said something, but you're a weak ass nigga, so you didn't say nothing, which is so interesting. You was too scared to tell the ladies what you did, but you was ready to run up in Phil's face and fight him. Make it make sense for me. I do not like that. And when you had the opportunity to tell Mariah before Mariah got kicked out this house or whatever, you still didn't say nothing. So I'm not featuring you. I don't like nobody in this house for real. I'm just here for Preston, girl. That's it. Until he pissed me off, I'm only here for Preston. So anywho, let's keep going. Alex likes Shanice, okay? Alex is giving weird. He gives that he's intimidated by Shanice or whatever. I don't really like his energy. When she grabbed his hand, he was like, too close, don't touch, don't be touching me or whatever. And it's really because he ended up receiving a news article or some information about this girl when it comes to her ex. And I was just kind of like, what does that have to do with you though? What is given is you're a person that likes to meditate. You used to be a thought. You're a reformed thought at this point. You're in tune with yourself and all of this other stuff. And it gives me the fact that you don't want her touching you or anything makes me think that, one, you're intimidated by her. And two, you're afraid that if you let her get any closer to you than what she already is, you could possibly go back to being the person that you were. And you don't want to do that. That's kind of the energy that it gives me. It makes me question whether you have if you have a sexual chemistry towards this girl. That's what I was thinking, okay? But anywho, I feel like Alex was rude as hell. Let me go back, okay? Amir tells the guys about what Shanice did that night. He was like, oh, yeah, you know, Shanice came out the bathroom, exposed herself to me, all this and that. He says, I'm not interested in her, though, because I'm really focusing on Jordan. That's what he say. That's what he say. And then Alex, later on, we learned that I think Shanice was trying to have a conversation with Alex at some point when they were all hanging out at the beach. He didn't seem like he was trying to entertain her. It was like she was really talking to herself. He was looking at her like she was stupid. And I just felt like he was rude as fuck. And he was awkward. And that's when we learned about the whole article and stuff, right? And I didn't understand what that had to do with him being rude as hell to her, because it's kind of like, even though she stalked or did whatever she did in that past relationship, you don't know the dynamics of that relationship for real, right? But then you could have at least been nice. Like, I understand based on what she did in that relationship could be a reason why you don't want to date her. And I don't think that you should if you don't want to. Like, that's completely fine. But I just didn't think you needed to be, like, rude to her in that moment. I feel like he was being very rude. But anywho, what's funny is that when they interviewed all of the ladies, like Jordan and Bria and stuff, about Shanice's past relationship, a lot of the ladies were like, oh, it wasn't all real. Some of it was fake. You know, he added sauce to the story. Whole time, Shanice is in her damn interview confessional talking about some, yeah, I did do some of that. Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff I did do. I was like, ooh, girl, not your homegirls trying to make you look like a better person, and you over here keeping it a buck. Ooh, she did do some of that stuff. She did fuck some stuff up. She was over there calling his phone continuously and all this and that, girl. Like, yikes. Okay, so I definitely see why Alex would not want to date you in any capacity, but I also feel like he didn't have to be rude as hell. So that's what it really was. It wasn't that he was intimidated like I was thinking, even though that still could be a possibility, you know, but it was more so like, I'm not even gonna try and give her anything to make her think I'm interested, because I don't even want it to go nowhere, because I don't really like how she handled herself in the past relationship. She got some more healing she need to do, and I'm not in that place because I've healed, and he has every right to do that, but he ain't got to be rude. But anyway, so later that night, the ladies plan to hang out with the without the guys. Okay, we learned that they're gonna hang out without the guys, and Jasmine brings up free drinks or something. Her husband doesn't want her to get no drinks from no guys. He feels like when you get drinks from guys, then it could give them the wrong impression and all of that, right? I don't really know how I feel about this, because I do feel like some guys will just buy you drinks off GP and they don't want nothing. It's just like, hey, buy them some drinks. I feel like it just makes them feel good to seem like they a boss at that moment. Like, yeah, buy her and her homegirl some drinks. And they just move on. They don't try and get your number. They don't try and do nothing. They just having a good time. Have a good time. Let's move on. Her husband is not really here for that at all. And I just feel like when it comes to getting drinks, free drinks from a stranger, it's all about the level of respect you willing to have for your situation and whatever y'all agree to. That's what it's down, you know, that's what it is. I do feel like Jasmine Slick be trying to live her single life when she with her homegirls. And that's probably why her husband be kind of complaining. It's like, you didn't even have to bring up the free drinks. He don't ever have to know that when you hanging out. But I don't know, Jazz, like, you did marry him very quickly, okay? You married him very quickly. And like what, after 6 months or so, and then y'all got engaged, then shortly after that y'all got married. So it's like, Jasmine, were you really ready to let go of your single life for real? Like, I don't know about Jasmine. Y'all gonna have to let me know y'all thoughts about that, because I don't know. I see his point of view as a husband, but then I also see her wanting to just have a good time with her friends. And it's not that he's not saying you can't have a good time with your friends, you know. I guess he's thinking about it as a man, like, I'm not going to be out here buying free drinks for other women, so I wouldn't want you to be taking drinks from other men. So I don't know. They got to figure that out. I don't really know how to help them on that, because I kind of am on his side a bit. Like, I see where he coming from with that. But then if you get free drinks from somebody, like, I hate to say it, girl, that ain't your husband's business. His ass went there. He ain't got to know all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. And I feel like Jasmine could have said that to trigger that man in that moment. I don't know. Now, a lot of the ladies are saying that Jasmine is changing who she is. Now, I feel like you are supposed to change. I don't know what they expect her to do, but when you get married, I don't believe that things are supposed to always stay the same. Like, girl, I'm supposed to still be that girl I was before I had a husband and had a man and da-da-da-da-da. Like, girl, things are going to change, and y'all just going to have to roll with the punches, because when y'all get y'all men, y'all are going to change too. Like, that's just what it is. So, I mean, I don't know, like, or how is she changing too? Because there also could be some bad change. So in what way is she really changing? Because I mean, I don't know. I have to see more, but I feel like when you get married, change is supposed to come. But I mean, is she changing? Meaning her demeanor is changing. She's looking more, unhappy, like a Latrice Rogers, a Bell Collective. Like, what kind of change is it that y'all are talking about? Because if you're talking about her hanging out at clubs and doing the single shit that y'all do, she's probably not going to do that as much because she's not in that space anymore. So I don't know what y'all want. Anywho, Nick, we end up learning that he has a girlfriend somewhere in New York or whatever. He says he has a girlfriend, but we learned that Nick had been sliding in everybody's DMs, telling Shanice he wants to marry her and flirting with everybody. So they feel like he's lame as hell and trying to be a player, knowing he had a girlfriend this whole time, but he over there trying to holler at them. So my question is also this: how long has the young lady been his girlfriend? Did she become his girlfriend right before he came on this trip? Or did she become his girlfriend that last night? Or is he lying, or what's going on? Because it is giving lame a bit, Nick. Like, you are trying to be on some Playboy stuff, but since you know that you're not going to win against Amir when it comes to Jordan, now you want to let everybody know that you have a girlfriend. But if Jordan gave you play, you wouldn't have said that. In the very beginning, you said that you were attracted to Joy. Y'all ain't been there that damn long. So when did your girlfriend come into play, Nick? The people want to know. I don't know about you, Nick. But anywho, the episode ended up being all right. I just hate that Mariah is gone. Definitely was glad Phil was gone. But what I hate the most is that Bria got her way. And I don't feature Bria. I think that was whack as hell of her. But I cannot wait for her card to be exposed. And she out there inviting her man and then trying to play, whack ass bitch. Then try to sit up there and play when from the previews when he said, I think it's best if your significant other and you live in another house. Now, or go to another hotel if he's going to stay here until the end of the trip. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. It does sound like it could possibly be unfair, but at the same time, the only people that got their significant other there is the people that's hosting the trip. So if they don't want your significant other there, then let him go on somewhere else. And for Jasmine to try to pull that damn card, talk about, is it because he's white? And Silas had to check the hell out of her and say, is that really what you think of me? You think that low of me? That this has anything to do with fucking race? And you tried to flip that on that man? She has to go. She has to go. She's a manipulator, and I'm glad he called her ass out for what she was and what she is. And we just gonna see how the rest of the season go. I'm mad as hell. If y'all have any type of reunion, y'all better bring my girl Mariah back. And that's just on P. But that's all I got. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and comments and how you felt about the episode of Summer House, okay? I'm JamiThatsMe. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JamiThatsMe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.